Madam Chair. Just a quick question. This is very much in relation to the question of the Chair. In your view, sa inyo po, Secretary Gasmin, ano yung ibig sabihin ng sinabi ni President Obama na hindi makakapangako ang Estados Unidos na makipaglaban sa kahit na sinong umatake sa Pilipinas? Ang nasabi mo kanina ay pagka may nangyari na gano'n, nagkaputukan, ay mahihila natin ang Amerika para tayo'y tulungan. Ngunit sinabi niya, maliwanag na maliwanag, that the United States cannot promise that it will go to war if the Philippines is attacked. So, ano sa kaya't napuna ko rin na sa inyong salaysay ay pinag-usapan lamang ninyo ay training at saka pagpatibay ng ating mga AFP at saka yung pagpaganda ng ating maritime security. Hindi natin napag-usapan kung ano ba talaga ang inaasahan natin sa Amerika. Dun sa sinabi ni President Obama nung kanyang bisita rito, ano sa palagay ninyo ang ibig sabihin nun? Na hindi makapangako ang Amerika na sila ay lalaban para sa Pilipinas kung tayo man ay inatake.
Ang sabi po ni President Obama, ang commitment ng US ay ironclad. Ibig sabihin, matatag matibay yung kanilang commitment sa atin. Ngayon, tayo ay naniniwala dahil ito ang pinakamataas na Amerikanong nagsabi nito.
Matibay yung commitment. Ngunit anong ibig sabihin ng commitment na yun? Anong naipapangako ng Amerika? Hindi lamang sa Mutual Defense Treaty, kung hindi pati na dito sa Edca, na sila ay tutulong sa atin sa pagka nagkaroon ng gera.
Please excuse me. I remember that President Obama paid a state visit to Japan, and there he was asked, since there are certain islands of Japan, the ownership of which is in dispute, he was asked, will the United States go to war if the Japanese islands are invaded? And he said yes. And eventually he was asked, will the United States go to war if the Philippines is invaded? And they said no. That's the record.
Yes, Madam Chair, this is precisely what I am alluding to. And I would like, in the light of our examinations as to whether or not the Edca is, again, provides us additional security or strengthens our commitments to one another vis-a-vis the United States and the Philippines. I was asking what, in fact, is their interpretation, is the Department of National Defense's interpretation of these pronouncements that President Obama made, and beyond that, what we have in the Edca as to what exactly the response of the United States will be should we find ourselves in a shooting war.
Well, right now, Your Honor, we use Edca as a deterrent to any threat to our security. As we are using this, we continue to fill in the gaps through our modernization program.
Well, a deterrent, ibig sabihin na parang hindi naman nananakot o nagsasabi na huwag kayong lumaban sa amin dahil lalabanan namin kayo. Ikakasabi sa atin, hindi kami lalaban para sa Pilipinas. So, paano magiging deterrent yun? Dahil sasabihin ng kahit sino, paputukan nga natin yung barko ng Pilipinas, hindi tayo matatakot dahil sinabi na ng Amerika, hindi naman sila makikipaggera para sa Pilipinas. So, that's not a deterrent. Why will a aggressive power have second thoughts or be afraid of attacking us when nobody is going to come to defend us except our own armed forces?
With the deterrence na nangyayari nga ngayon, kita nyo, hindi ho tayo ina-atake sa ating pag-resupply ng ating mga tropa sa iyong mission. Although we have skirmishes, but not cause a shooting war.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary. I think that is due to the bravery and skill of our own servicemen. I don't think the Americans played a part in that, but never mind. And if that is your interpretation. Thank you, Madam. That is the main purpose of the agreed locations to improve our maritime security, to help in the organization of our military exercises together with the United States. However, in Article 6 of the agreement of Edca, it speaks mostly of prepositioning. And prepositioning, I take to mean, is simply the forward positioning of material so that when there is a deployment in that part of the world, that this material need not come from a distance far away in the United States. I am reminded of the prepositioned material that you see in a place like Hawaii, where there are acres and acres of military equipment just waiting to be deployed should there be a need. And furthermore, it is in paragraph 3 of Article 4, it reads, the prepositioned material of United States force shall be for the exclusive use of the United States force, and full title, such equipment, supplies, and material remains with the United States. The United States will have control over the access to and disposition of such prepositioned material, and shall have the unencumbered right to remove such prepositioned material at any time from the territory of the Philippines. This is implying that this prepositioned material in the Philippines agreed locations is for war. And it is not to do with training, it is not to do with increasing the Philippine Armed Forces capability, but merely it is using the agreed locations in the Philippines should there be a need to prosecute a war in our part of the world, which will and the prepositioning of this material will be clearly for the use only of United States forces. Surely, that implies that this is now a U.S. base. Sojen or Yusek Batino?
We would like to make emphasis on the pertinent phrase in paragraph 1 of Article 4 that requires the prepositioning of and storing of defense equipment to go through bilateral security mechanisms, and such as the Mutual Defense Board and the Security Engagement Board. This clearly provides that the Philippines' consent is needed for the prepositioning of this material, taking into consideration our own national interest.
Different. My reading of it is that does not require the Philippines consent any longer, because in the language, Philippine consent is actually being given. And therefore, that consent need not be given at any time in the future. It is already given by virtue of this agreement. So there is no bilateral consultation in any way. Dahil binigyan na natin ng karapatan na sige, magpasok kayo ng kung ano yung gusto ninyo. Na mailagay ninyo dito sa mga agreed location, mga gamit na hindi naman magagamit ng mga sundalong Pinoy. So, paano hindi naging base yan? Parang it looks to me, it sounds a lot to me like a base, because it is precisely the kind of activities that they do on bases on American soil. Kaya nga, hindi napapag-usapan natin na maraming nababanggit tungkol nga sa training, capability, disaster relief, okay, lahat yan. Pero maliwanag na maliwanag, meron silang may bahagi nung agreed location na para sa Amerikano lang. At tayo naman ay pumayag.
Yes, Your Honor. We think that we need to contextualize the language presented under paragraph 1. The Mutual Defense Board and the Security Engagement Board are established consulting mechanisms that meet regularly, year to year, to discuss the activities and all other details in connection with these activities. Thus, this is a regular consulting mechanism between the U.S. and the Philippines in the planning of training activities as well as other operational details such as venue of the training exercise and the possible material to be used for the training exercises. So it is our position, Your Honor, that through paragraph 1, it is clear that there is still this consenting mechanism that is needed to be passed before any preposition material could be decided by the two parties to be stored in the agreed location.
The last sentence in that paragraph says, the United States forces shall notify the AFP, will not consult, will not seek the agreement, but will notify. Again, this bilateral consultation seems to be absent in that kind of language.
Your Honor, the first sentence would pertain to the identification of the preposition material to be stored. Once that determination has been made, then we still require the U.S. to notify us in advance of the delivery of these preposition material. Of course, this is needed so that we could coordinate our protocols with the delivery of these items. Also, Your Honor, we would want to also emphasize a very important paragraph in Article 4, specifically paragraph 2, where the parties share a recognition of the benefits that such prepositioning could have for HADR and for the enhancement of their individual and collective defense capabilities, which is again in consonance with Article 1 of the Edca, which focuses on the development and preparation of our individual and collective capacity for mutual defense. We note, Your Honor, your observation under paragraph 3. It is our position that this is a reasonable provision because these equipment and material stored really still belongs to the U.S. However, it will be used for the conduct of training exercises for the benefit of both the Philippine and U.S. forces. It can be used for HADR in times of disasters.
But you said there's nothing here to say that the preposition material will only be relief goods, will only be water supply for disaster preparedness, will only be for that. If that were the only thing, that certainly wouldn't be a problem. But we are talking about weapons and material that are being stored. But anyway, I need not belabor the point. I think I have made my point that it should seem that at the very least, there is a section, a part of these agreed locations, which will be for the sole use of the United States forces, which would seem to imply that they have now established a base in the Philippines. So with that, Madam Chair, thank you.
Gulat kayo, no? So, nakita ninyo kung gaano siya kalakas sa nagdi-disagree doon sa Edca basis. Ito ay nung 2014, nagkaroon ng Senate hearing on Edca. Mabuti pa nga ito nung panahon ni Pinoy, no? Kasi nagkaroon ng Senate hearing. Yung Edca niya ngayon, walang kahiring-hiring. Basta pagkagaling niya sa Amerika, pagbalik niya, Edca na. So, wala man lang consultation. Nag-notify na lang siya na, magandang gawin itong Edca. Samantalang nitong hearing na to, sobrang questionable sa kanya. Sabi niya, ikinestyon, ito ay material for war. Hindi naman ito nagkakaroon ng mga material para doon sa training or para sa disaster or whatever, di ba? So, Kung dito, ang tanong dito, kung dito may question siya nung 2014 diyan sa Senate hearing na 'yan, bakit ngayon siya na yung number one proponent nung EDCA? Para sa akin, ang isa lang sa reason niyan is meron siyang interest dito. May kapalit kung bakit pumayag siya na dagdagan pa yung EDCA bases. Kasi sabi niya way back, this is a totally US base, 'di ba? US base na 'to, sabi niya. So, malinaw na dati pala siya ay anti-EDCA, pero ngayon pro-EDCA. Alam na natin. Ano kaya sa tingin ninyo ang reason? Sige, i-comment niyo diyan.